China on the Shanghai Composite, and the Kospi and Seoul both trading in the red.
OK, so moving on to companies and Ukrainian banks affected by the tensions with Russia.
Yeah, the Russian central bank has barred 4 Ukrainian lenders from operating in Crimea. The banks affected include Privat Bank and Imex Bank. Moscow said they had failed to fulfill their obligations to creditors in the peninsula, which was annexed by Russia last month. The American pharmaceutical giant Pfizer is said to be considering offering more than $100 billion to buy the British drug manufacturer AstraZeneca. The Sunday Times newspaper says Pfizer has made a preliminary takeover bid for the firm. AstraZeneca is the UK's second largest pharmaceutical company and is valued at some $80 billion. And the Italian newspaper Corriere della Sera is to give away 20 million free copies on a single day ahead of the European elections in May. The stunt will celebrate Italy's economic recovery with a special edition as the paper seeks new print and online subscriptions. Considered Italy's newspaper of record, it's been hit by falling advertising revenues in recent years, and last year its parent company narrowly avoided bankruptcy.
And finally, if you're a betting man, some of the world's biggest online betting sites stopped working over the weekend, but apparently for a very unusual reason.
Yeah, it's not in all this talk of heartbleed and these attacks on various internet sites. We're expecting more of a cyber reason behind this, but in fact it was a fire at a power station in Gibraltar that knocked the websites of betting giants, including William Hill and Ladbrokes, offline. You can see pictures of it there. These from the William Hill Twitter account published online. You can see this plumes of smoke rising from those factories. Now, police in the British territory say the generator exploded because of mechanical problems. No foul play suspected, but it hit the telecoms network in Gibraltar, which sent the sites offline for between 2.5 and 6 hours. Some 26 betting firms are based in Gibraltar because of the low taxes there. A spokesman for William Hill, one of the companies affected, apologised to consumers, saying some will claim they missed out on backing winners, but others are luckier because they missed out on backing losers.
Indeed.
So it depends which way you look at it.
Indeed, indeed. Stephen Carroll there for the Business News. Thanks very much. Right, it's now time for web news, and it starts with that happy release of 4 French journalists who had been held hostage in Syria for over 10 months. And you'll also see Super Mario Brothers take on a whole new sound.
Web users across France have been celebrating the release of 4 French journalists who were freed late Friday night after being held hostage in Syria since June 2013. There's been widespread commentary on social networks where news professionals have been expressing their joy and relief to see their colleagues safe and sound after a long and tough ordeal. Political figures have been posting similar messages hailing the release of Didier François, Edouard Elias, Nicolas Hénin and Pierre Torres. Dozens of politicians from all parties have been tweeting about this happy ending and praising the intervention of French diplomacy. But some web users are questioning the conditions under which they were released and challenging the French authorities' official version of events, suggesting the kidnappers were bribed and given something in exchange for the hostages. Others say either way, it doesn't matter, as seeing the journalists released after 10 months in captivity in Syria is all that counts. Nuns, priests, believers strutting their stuff to the Pharrell Williams track and waving pictures of John Paul II and John XXIII. The Vatican released their version of the global mega hit Happy to YouTube a few days ago to celebrate the upcoming double Pope sainthood ceremony. The video is part of a massive social media marketing campaign currently underway. Web users can follow the campaign under the Two Pope Saints hashtag set up at the beginning of March by the Vatican. It applies to Twitter, Facebook, Instagram and also Google+, and comes with multi-language posts with information updates for the 5 million or so Catholics from around the world expected to travel to Rome for the April 27th event. There's also the official purpose-built website for this double canonization, which gets web users to comment on different daily themes such as faith or interfaith dialogue. Web users are also asked to read quotes from and information about John Paul II and John XXIII and reflect on the accomplishments of the 2 former popes. The future saints are also starring in a series of comical pics, which are also posted daily. The comic strip-like pictures are created using the BitStrips application and show them up in heaven, and also talking about their work on the phone. Music lover Lance Underwood spends quality time with his two sons recreating classic album covers. Taj and Amar, directed by their dad, have posed as Bob Dylan, Johnny Cash, Nat King Cole and more. The photos are then touched up with some image editing software and published on the QT Albums Tumblr blog. "48 glasses of wine, 2 pencils and a frying pan. These are the unlikely instruments used by Dan Newby to reproduce the theme tune from the well-known video game Super Mario Bros. And you can check out this very original version of the famous melody on Dan's YouTube channel.
Well, it's coming up to 8:30 here in Paris. We're going to take a quick break, but we'll be right back. Do stay with us.